BionicDance is filmed in front of a live studio audience.
Kate, we are pretty much friends by now. I am loving our conversations.
We're not friends, and this conversation is starting to piss me off. Why? Because you've been misrepresenting everything I have to say. Badly. This will be my last response to you. Consider it a coup de grace and understand that it's your fault. Let's do this. Greetings, fellow space travelers. BionicDance here. Not sure this needs more introduction. I've done 2 responses to this guy who claims to want to understand atheism, but despite giving him detailed and nuanced explanations, he just doesn't seem to get it, and I'm starting to suspect he doesn't want to. Jerk.
This specific episode is going to carry our conversation in a different direction. And it's going to be a challenging one because it's not going to be the predictable direction that people will assume the conversation that a Christian and an atheist would have.
Yeah, it is. Dude, I've been doing this for 10 years. Don't flatter yourself to think that you've said or will say anything new. The been there, done that is strong with this one.
But it is my challenge that we take this conversation where I am trying to lead it, not where we thought it was going to go.
The only place either of us should be trying to lead any conversation is to the truth, not some predetermined conclusion.
Of course, like last time, I wrote down notes. We're going to look at certain things that Cade said, and I'm going to give you my response. Here we go.
Here's the problem with your note-taking, laddie. I don't know why I did that with an accent. You're missing so much of what was said to you, leaving out some of the most important critical details that, once again, you're badly off target. If you're gonna respond to someone, you need to do it like I'm doing it, so you can watch what's being said to you as you respond to it, instead of going off bullet points that have been rewritten in daddy blogese. I know you have editing software, otherwise we'd see you turning on your webcam. You can do this. You know you can. Yeah, it's more work, but it's worth it. You won't have people like me finally getting fed up. I wish I had a really cool accent.
1 minute and 22 seconds. Kate, you had said, quote, "For me, this is a debate." That's what you had said, because I said specifically, to me, this is not a debate. It's a collaboration and a conversation. I am not here to convince anyone against what they believe to try to convert them. So for me, I'm not debating anyone. We're having a conversation. Granted, we have much different perspectives on it, but that's, to me, one of the main things that makes me feel alive. It's having these kind of conversations to where my own beliefs aren't just being reinforced. They're being challenged so that I can understand myself and others better.
Letting your beliefs be challenged is something you're absolutely not doing. Because when I point out a flaw in the logic of your beliefs, it bounces right off your well-armored cranium. Like pointing out how you have no evidence for the afterlife, so it's illogical to believe it exists, resulted in you basically saying, oh well, gonna keep doing it anyway. How challenged are you if reason has no effect? Would your attitude be any different if the subject weren't religious in nature, I wonder?
1 minute and 32 seconds. Kate, you were talking about how people use faith to mistreat others. And I want to talk about that. It's awful, isn't it? I hate that that happens. So now you've got me thinking, I'm even asking everybody, the thousands of people watching these videos, specifically, what am I doing where I'm using my faith to mistreat others?
You might not mistreat others. I don't know. But I rarely expect the person in my crosshairs to be my real target anyway. I'm not sure I've ever convinced the person to whom I'm responding that they've jumped the tracks. In your case, I was hoping, but that's obviously not meant to be. No, my real target has always been the audience. When you're not personally the one taking it in the neck, it's a lot easier to examine yourself instead of getting indignant.
When it comes to my political beliefs, I'm not a Republican, and I didn't vote for Trump. I'm a libertarian.
I find it telling that he didn't say he's not a Republican or a Democrat. But at least the not voting for Trump thing is a factor.
So for me, whatever people believe, as long as it's not hurting other people, let them believe that. Let them do that. Don't make laws against people.
As long as you can share and play nicely with the other kids, I don't care what you believe either. Been saying that for years. But I do kind of take issue with irrationality, too. If you're believing stuff without or against logic and evidence, it does kind of make me twitch a little. And it's also the best way I can think of to challenge those beliefs that people use to excuse their misbehavior, thus these videos.
So specifically, I want to be very clear. When it comes to gay rights, yeah, okay. Gay people should absolutely have rights. Gay people should not be discriminated against. I can't think of anything that a gay person should not be able to do that everyone else should be able to do.
And that should be a problem for you because it flies directly in the face of what your holy book says about treating queers. Even if you think the part about killing them is metaphorical, it's still pretty nasty. Actually, it doesn't say a thing about lesbians, so I should be fine. How do you reconcile your religious beliefs with your LGBT tolerance? Is the word of your God actually less valid than acceptance of homosexuality? Like I said, this should be a problem for you. Why isn't it one? And if you recognize that it is and are forced to pick one, which would you take? This is why I've often said that if it turned out that the Christian God really is real, far from worshipping, I'd go looking for the flaming sword or magic ring that could kill the fucker.
When I started this whole conversation with you, Kate, I was asking the question so I could understand what atheists believe.
Then why do you keep getting what I say so badly wrong? Why is it that when I give explanations, you seem to only hear half? Either you don't really want to understand, or you be dumb. Which is it?
But ultimately, I got my answer. People who are atheists do not believe consciousness exists once your physical body dies. And now I know that.
No, you don't. You clearly don't understand atheism at all. Still, I told you, stop looking at atheism as if it were the other side of the God belief coin, like everything is the same except for the belief in God part. Atheists aren't like religious people. We don't have dogma. We don't have doctrine. We don't have a set of beliefs. There isn't even really a we. The only reasons atheists have to band together really is self-defense, or to help those dealing with the stresses and trials of leaving religion behind. Let me try to put this another way. There are those who believe in at least one God, and then there is the entire rest of the universe. Unlike religion, a lifestyle is not dictated by having no God belief. The only thing any atheist view of the world will have as a given, in common with other atheists, is that God isn't part of it. Absolutely anything else could be radically different from atheist to atheist. So when you say that atheists don't think that the body has a soul, that's a complete misconception, and I specifically said so. An atheist could believe that the body has a soul. It's just really damned unlikely, given that most atheists seem to have no belief in the supernatural at all. But it could happen, and your inability to see this vast world of possibilities is precisely why I'm getting fed up with you.
452. You were saying that zero God belief, but you can believe in a soul. So see, that's something I learned from you. That helped me. Because for me, it seemed all attached, because in my perspective, it is, right? But for an atheist, you can say, absolutely, there are no gods, there is no God.
And I'm pretty sure I told you that this is not how atheism works. In fact, I went on about this at length in my last video, about how there are different degrees of and reasons for non-belief. Yes, some atheists declare that there is no God. Others just say that there is no reason to believe, and so they don't. Again, this sort of thing is why I'm fed up. Some of the absolutely most important points take the expressway from ear to ear.
Moving on to 6 minutes and 25 seconds into your video, Kate, you'd said, quote, "I'm not buying what you're selling," end quote. So I just want to remind everyone, not selling anything. I don't need you to believe what I believe. I think it's impossible for me to be able to convert you.
Well, guess again. You see, you could convert me, which is to say, convince me that a God is real. Whether or not I buy the dogma is another issue entirely. Just, you couldn't do it without evidence that I can test. But in your videos, you've been very specific about not having info and believing anyway. And yeah, that's not going to make me think that a God is real. The way that God has been described beggars logic and reason, does not fit with the available data we have regarding existence. And saying I'm not buying what you're selling is a metaphor, doofus. I'm saying that your side on this issue doesn't stand up to critical scrutiny. Come on, use your loaf.
I think, Kate, you've got, what, 23,000 subscribers? You have collected this tribe. You are their leader.
I have not. I have viewers. Some of them loyal, I'll admit. Some of them have been subscribers for a long time, and I love them for it. But I am not their leader. If I started issuing orders, I'd hope they'd tell me to get stuffed. I do not have that kind of authority over my viewers, and I don't want it. I'm not entirely certain, but it's possible that this part of your video pissed me off the most. It says things about my character that I find deeply insulting.
8 minutes and 43 seconds, you again had said that the brain is who we are. So then you went on to ask some questions about that. And honestly, questions I don't know the answer to. I don't think we can know. As far as based in Christian teachings, if this is a point where you're asking me what I believe, and this is not where I'm trying to convince anyone of my beliefs, but in answering your question, if you're asking me what do Christians believe as far as if someone had one personality and then they had brain trauma and then they had a different personality and they no longer believed in God after whatever the trauma was or whatever, I don't know how that works. That's a great question.
I did not ask what if they don't believe in God after. What I asked was how the soul is affected by the personality being changed due to changes in the brain. 2, what I did ask was actually a rhetorical device to get you to see how the concept of the soul has some serious continuity problems. You say you can't answer those questions. Is it possible? Would you even consider the possibility that these questions don't have answers because the topic itself is baseless, that it's all just make-believe? I asked these questions before. I can't help but notice you've avoided them. You say you want your beliefs challenged, but that doesn't seem to be the case.
Another question, can a soul change with a brain? I don't know, right off the top I would think, well, that's kind of the conversion process for a Christian is that, yeah, your soul becomes converted when your brain becomes converted. So for me, that would be my answer.
That was not the question. We're not talking about being convinced to change one's views on a topic. We were talking about blunt head trauma. We were talking about the personality changing because of an outside stimulus changing the brain's physical structure. You see why I'm fed up here? What I've said and what you hear, the question you answer, are not the same.
11 minutes and 28 seconds, you said, quote, atheists don't deny spiritual realm, unquote. Okay, so again, that's something I definitely learned from you.
Again, this is treating atheists like a we, the same way a religion or a sect or subdivision of a religion is a we. But I'm pretty damned sure that I said that denying a spiritual realm is not a checkbox one has to mark to be an atheist, and that's all I said. Why is this so difficult for you to grasp?
Okay, there you go. That is my review of your video. In my response to it. Here's my challenge though. My challenge is this. Let me remind everyone of where my video started. I started this whole conversation and I really hope that it continues.
It won't.
But I want to remind everyone, this is not a debate where we're talking about me trying to sell you Christian beliefs. I already made it clear I'm not trying to do that. I'm actually wanting to learn more about what you believe.
Clearly you don't. Or if you do, you were dropped on your head far too many times as an infant to be able to grasp it. One or the other.
I'm just trying to understand and appreciate others' beliefs because I think perhaps that's a stereotype about Christians is that we are so focused on what we believe that we don't have an ear to hear what other people have to say and their perspective.
It's a good thing it's December. I'm running out of irony meters, but the next annual shipment is due in before the month is over.
So that's my agenda. That is my agenda. I'm wanting to understand you better. I'm not trying for you to understand what I believe better. So it's the opposite of, I think, of what a lot of people think my agenda is.
Newsflash, genius! This was supposed to be a two-way conversation, and you don't get to set the agenda, not once someone else starts to participate. And let's face it, you've avoided a lot of the hard questions and refused to admit that maybe, just maybe, your beliefs rest on a shaky foundation and there's a chance they might not be true. That makes me think that saying you want to learn more about my position while not allowing yours to be challenged is just an underhanded way of keeping the conversation one-sided.
So, can we keep that conversation going, Kate?
No. Get stuffed. And while you're at it, let me send you this coupon, good for 1 clue at participating retailers. Seriously, dude, this isn't just a YouTube thing. You have got to learn how to respond to someone when they say something, how to address what they've actually said, and in the terms they've expressed it. 'Cause you're not good at that. And that, more than anything, is why this exchange has ended. Now go away. I have more important things to do, like trimming my nose hair or learning to speak Klingon. Klingon hol pItlh'e. Until next time, fellow space travelers, this is BionicDance saying don't run on automatic. Instead, please think. And remember, fellow space travelers, here at BionicDance Hey! Ow! Stop that! Okay. As I was saying, here at BionicDance Ow! Ow!